My name is Al Smith, and I'm here today to talk about the Portatree 3-place connectors that we use on photo sensors and all the cable connections on the racetrack. These connectors should be put on very carefully. You want to make sure that they're inserted, the cables are inserted properly into the connector, and we're going to show you how to glue on the covers to make the connection more robust. If you notice the cable, we've bared it back so that only the 3 conductors are showing. The red, the black, and the green. The red is the positive system voltage, the black is ground, the green is the signal. Now Keith's going to install that into the connector, and he's got a special tool. It's called a push-in tool, and notice that the wires are not bared. And when they get pushed in, you'll hear a real clunk as it goes down to the table surface. You can do this with a screwdriver. You can push them down one section at a time. You don't have to push them all down. Try not to leave too much of the gray shield or the PVC jacket showing, just as much as you need to. You may have to trim the conductors a little bit. Keith now is going to show you how to install the end, and we actually install them 2 different ways. Because it's a unisex connector, they actually turn over. So when we're doing, the one he's showing now would be a cable that is on the track side, not the sensor, but the track side. And if you notice, he put the cable down, not in the end with the divot, but the end that's flat. And he started down with the teeth facing up. And now what he's going to do is he centers it side to side. He makes sure that it's horizontal or parallel with the connector cover itself. You don't want to come to one side or the other, or it just won't look right. And then you want to make sure if you hold it up to the eye vertically, you want to be able to adjust it left and right so it's coming straight out of the we call it a back shell. Now you've got time to fool with it because it's still hot, the hot melt glue, so if he needed to adjust it, he could bend it down or he could bend it side to side to get it straight. So if you look at it, you can see that it's straight, and this surface here is parallel with the top of the connector cover. We try to get it as close as we can. Now you can still move it around a little bit while it's still hot. You don't want to wait too long, or if it's got to go side to side, you can pull it, and then eventually it's going to harden. It usually hardens within a couple of minutes, so you want to make sure you do the best job you can. Now again, we put that one with the flat side of the connector wires exposed down on the flat back. Now if we were going to do a sensor, we would do the sensor on the flat on that back. And the reason being is so if you ever decide to label them, when you plug them together, you'd have flat and flat instead of the divot side. You'd have a divot and a flat. It would be hard to label both. So that's the reason we do it. So again, we'll do another. Do we have another? We have another one here. This would be something like a short one you do on a photocell if you had to replace an end on a photocell. And again, well, we got to do things in order. We have to get that wire snapped in first. And you can make your own divot tool or loading tool if you want. It's not real difficult. The company that made these originally no longer makes this tool. And if you look at the tool basically just has teeth. It's an 1/8 inch piece of steel, and if you look down the top, we put a file mark so that it's rounded so that the wire will sit in it and not roll off either side. And all this does is match the teeth in the connector. So it doesn't take really that long to make a insertion. I call it an insertion tool. Now this time he's going to make it the opposite. He's going to put the end in the divot side first. This being the flat side, and he's got the divot side. And the reason we chose these connectors, they're a wide blade connector. They handle a tremendous amount of amperage, like up to 20 amps. We're only using milliamps through them, but they clean very easily if you get dirt in the connector. And I would use WD-40 to flush out the dirt, and then use compressed air to blow it out, blow the connection out. That also will prevent them from rusting and corroding. So compressed air is when you're in the, if you're on your racetrack, you might have to take a tank of air with you and blow them out to clean them. Now when they're done, again we plug them in, If you look, you have two connectors. They look exactly the same, no matter how you want to look at it. Somebody would say, oh, they don't plug together. Well, you can't plug them like this. You have to reverse it over so the teeth are showing, and they plug together. And because we did them opposite, now we can put a label on each one and make it easier for recognition. You can even do colored tape. But in a nutshell, that's how it's done. Alright, you gotta wait till they dry or you'll pull them apart. But it's a good connection when it's done, and it's very robust. You won't break the cables, and they're easy to grab. The reason we use these, if there's a lightning storm, you have to unplug the track real fast. This is a lot easier than trying to unscrew a connector. Thank you.